T looking ever more desperate. What did he do this time? Let's talk about it, y'all. Middle America.
What are you people? We're Americans.
He is the winner of the
We're
IF
Americans
Donation
indeed. Unfortunately, this has now become almost par for the course. We've got another offering from the great Cenk Uygur, and of course, the big homie Jimmy Dore is sparing no expense in firing back at the homie Cenk. And so I'm just gonna watch and comment as we go along. The meltdown that's happening with TYT and Jimmy Dore and all the rest of it is one part tragic and another part almost comedic at this point, because it's almost as if Cenk is unable to see what he's doing. So they recently had Cenk on, and somewhere along the line, the beef, the jihad between TYT and all good people in the world came up. And so he commented, and so I'm just going to comment real quick on it.
Camera lately, right? He knows what he's doing. What? You think I'm kidding? So watch this. First they play Cenk Uygur, and then they come to Aaron, and Aaron just buzzsaw.
Can we get your thoughts on the ongoing feud with Jimmy Dore, which I know a lot of our viewers are following very closely? Do you have anything to add to his most recent, I would say, comments on that issue?
No, look, the guy's kind of pathetic, and
and he's crushing me in views right now. That's how pathetic he is. He's crushing me. He's single-handedly dismantled my reputation, and he's revealed what a charlatan I am without much effort. Really, it's not that hard. Anyway, back to you. What is it? Back to you, Jake.
He's now, most of his fans are right-wingers.
Now the irony is he's on a right-wing show. Like, Cenk doesn't realize that. He's out of The Hill is a right-wing publication, organization, news show. He doesn't realize that. And so now he thinks that's going to insult.
I don't know enough about The Hill to know whether or not they're a right-wing outlet. I mean, my understanding of The Hill was that, but again, my understanding of The Hill is only based on Sagar and Crystal. I thought they were The Hill. And apparently, when you look at their ratings, apparently that's the case. It's kind of like what happens when Sori runs a live stream. There's like 9,000 people there, and I show up, there's like 58. So I didn't know that they were a right wing outlet, but we continue.
But what it's as if he went on MSNBC and he said, all Jimmy's fans are now Hillary voters, and MSNBC they're like, he's just like, we like that guy. So that's a dumb insult. But Aaron, that's what they always do. They did that to Bernie Sanders. They go, Bernie Sanders, he's a Russian. Bernie Sanders helped support Donald Trump. Bernie Sanders is a sexist. Bernie Sanders is a misogynist.
Yeah.
And all the Bernie bros are misogynistic harassers, right? So that's what they do. If you get to the left of the Democrat or a shit lib like him, the first thing they do is call you a right-winger. The second thing is they smear you as a misogynist sexist. That's the game book. That's the game plan. That's what Hillary Clinton did. That's what Elizabeth Warren did with Bernie. And this is the exact same playbook. They got nothing else.
I mean, it's true. It's true. Like it's kind of like this sort of inverted identity politics attack. So if you disagree with me, you're against the very thing that you're fighting for. So Jimmy Dore disagrees with Cenk, so that means Jimmy is actually a right winger. I disagree with Cenk on abortion. That means I'm anti-American. Like he's like almost got this like papal authority where he can just excise and excommunicate people from the group immediately the minute they disagree with him. What's up, DJ? DJ in the house. Doug Johnson, an actual right winger, not like Jimmy supposedly is.
And so here we go.
And literally, the Daily Stormer wrote an article defending him yesterday. Daily Stormer is a neo-Nazi website. Now,
the interest of the U.S.
He's a Russian, Bernie.
Okay.
Add to his most recent, I would say,
so hold on for a
comments on
second
that
here.
issue.
No, look, the guy's kind of pathetic, and
Okay, so
And he's crushing me in views right now. That's how pathetic
he's
he
100% crushing
He's
you.
crushing me. He's single-handedly dismantled my reputation, and
well,
he's revealed what a charlatan I am.
um,
He is the winner of the I.F. Stone.
We had a little
Award for
technical
Independent
difficulty.
Journalism. He's a
I
contributor to
don't
the
know
Nation
what's
and the
happening
Green
with
Zone.
Cenk psychologically, but Jimmy is right. I mean, I was watching one of Anna's live stream, and she had, like, no bullshit, like 190 people on the live stream. I did a live stream like 2 or 3 nights ago on our little tiny Middle America channel. We just crossed 5,000, by the way. Shout out to you guys. And we had like 75 people. And Anna's in this station that's got like literally like supposedly 5 million viewers. I mean, that ratio is crazy. But only YouTubers know that. Like only YouTubers look at those numbers and see how like truly down they're going. But they are declining at a pretty rapid rate. And there's things that you can do with social media to kind of manipulate how many views you have. We do it all the time. You know, if we get behind like we are, like we just will not, we won't do any Metallica reviews or Korn or any major groups, because that's going to generate more people and put us in a deeper hole. So you can kind of like manipulate the spigot once you really know how to work YouTube. But their model, the way that they're based, they have a traditional model for ad revenue and things like that on YouTube. They're not doing well at all. Not even close. And as a lot of people are pointing out, the very fact that, and by the way, Rising is not doing very well either. And so to get Cenk on to talk about Jimmy is just a desperate attempt from Rising to get views. And wouldn't you know it, it's the most popular video they've had in the last 14 days, I think. So that's a situation that these folks are in. And Jimmy's laughing at them.
Crystal and Sagar left. What do you got?
We get your thoughts on the ongoing feud with Jimmy Dore, which I know a lot of our viewers are following very closely. Do you have anything to add to his most recent, I would say, comments on that issue?
No, look, the guy's kind of pathetic, and
And he's crushing me in views right now. That's how pathetic he is. He's crushing me. He's single-handedly dismantled my reputation, and he's revealed what a charlatan I am without much effort. Really, it's not that hard. Anyway, back to you. What is it? Back to you, Jake.
He's now, most of his fans are right-wingers.
Now the irony is he's on a right-wing show. Like Jake doesn't realize Donald Trump, Bernie Sanders is a sexist. Bernie Sanders is a misogynist.
And literally, the Daily Stormer wrote an article defending him yesterday. Daily Stormer is a neo-Nazi website.
Now, the Daily Stormer is a neo-Nazi website. That's a fact. And so now, so this I found. I'm like, wow, that's pretty crazy. I found the actual picture of the Daily Stormer. I think this is it right here. Maybe. Hold on. Nope. That was for the other video. I actually have the picture of the Daily Stormer thingamajiggy that they're using to slander Jimmy. And I got to tell you, I cannot believe that these people lack so much self-awareness that they don't understand how this reflects negatively on them. But they're pretending that this negatively affects Jimmy, and they're not seeing, you know, like on the popular level, like what regular Americans who are not politicized and don't know very much about this whole jihad and the nonsense that these people are caught up in. You know, once you see what Cenk is trying to condemn Jimmy for, it's maddening. So here it is, and please forgive the Training Watch nonsense on there. I'm really sorry, but here it is. Anna Kasparian blackmailing Jimmy Dore with Me Too hoax for exposing the Young Turks' pro-war propaganda. So instead of Cenk saying, no, we're not pro-war propagandists, his entire argument is, well, the Daily Stormer published this report, so that must mean that Jimmy is a Nazi, because the Daily Stormer was able to observe that Anna's Me Too claim was at minimum questionable as to its timing. That makes Jimmy a Nazi, or a supporter of Nazi. You know what else it makes him? It also makes him a supporter of Christianity, because Sori and I are Christians, and we also cast aspersions on the timing of Anna Kasparian's Me Too claim. So I guess that must mean, logically speaking, that Jimmy Dore is also a right-wing Christian who's against abortion, because we saw through that tactic as well. That's where we're at logically with these people. This is where we are. This is where we are. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Okay, so here's Alec, and I'm about to read this from Alec, and you have to understand, Alec's been my friend from literally the very beginning of our YouTube endeavors, and he is one of the most balanced, almost boring in his analysis of people, because Alec is an actual scientist. I think he's getting a master's or doctorate or whatever in biology. So anytime I have an evolution question, I go to Alec. Listen to what he puts down. And this is why this is important that Alec is saying this. This is disgusting. Cenk is the last true journalist of our time. Trying to attack his credibility and endless knowledge on world policy is vile. Vince should be ashamed of airing this. TYT forever. Now, he's mocking Cenk and the rest of them. But here's my point. When a guy that's typically an extremely sober character like Alec is flaming you to this degree, there's something wrong with you. And I mean that. Because I'm telling you, the guy's the most balanced individual I've ever seen in my life when it comes to his analysis of people. And look, he's so good at sarcasm that all these people are like, I hope he's being sarcastic. He is. He is. We continue. Here's the proof, guys. Just so, because I don't want, like, God forbid, Cenk gets hold of this, and poor Alex career will be ruined.
One time CNN did that to me. They put me in an article saying I was wrong about Syria, and they put me in with the neo-Nazis. And Cenk literally defended me on that. He's like, that's how crazy could you be? And now here he is repeating the same smear that CNN did against me when he defended me on that. And now he is using the same smear. Jimmy's somehow a neo-Nazi.
So sleazy.
Aaron
sleazy.
Matei is paid by the Russians, and he works for dictators that gas murder people. And Jimmy Dore is a neo-Nazi now, and all my listeners and fans are right wingers.
Look at poor Aaron Mate. Look at poor Aaron Mate shaking his head. No, because he's, Aaron Mate. What I love about he's almost naive in the way that he's dealing with this. He won't sue them, which is the first thing I would do, and not for the monetary reasons, but I would love it. I would put in the stipulations of the settlement that they would have to do a Zoom meeting with me and apologize with me to my face, and then pin it on their Facebook page. That's what I would have done. But Aaron Mate, he's not about that type of stuff. He's a bigger person than that. I, however, am not. I'm an extremely small person. So I would do that shit infinitely. Continue.
That's what they're doing. They're getting mentaler.
Mentaler.
All right, here we go.
Oh, look, I don't know that Jimmy asked for it, so you can say, hey, well, they just happen to agree. It's not Jimmy's fault that he agrees with neo-Nazis. Okay.
Hey, dummy. Stuckford, I shouldn't do that. We got to stop insulting people when we disagree with them. Hey, Cenk, if the Daily Stormer says 2 + 2 = 4, guess what? They're right. That does not mean that you agree with Nazis, Cenk. Hey, Cenk, do you know what? Because the authors of the Daily Storm are carbon-based life forms, among other things, they need liquid at least once every 3 days to survive. You know who else needs liquid once every 3 days to survive? Cenk Uygur. The authors of the Daily Storm wear clothes when they go outside. You know who else who wears clothes when they go outside? Cenk Uygur. Hey, look, I'm not saying that Cenk Uygur is a Nazi. All I'm saying is he drinks water. He goes outside with clothes on. If it looks like a duck and it talks like a duck, it's a Nazi.
Like, he doesn't realize that makes him look worse than me. That you're so desperate. They ask you about your feud with Jimmy Dore, and you say, and you don't mention anything about the feud. You go to that he's a Nazi and his viewers are right wingers. That's all he's got, folks.
First of all, this invective against Jimmy, that most of his viewers are right wingers, which is a lie. That's just a lie. I don't have those numbers in front of me, and neither do you. But you and I both would bet $10 million that that's a lie, and you and I would immediately become decalamiers. That's a millionaire in the tens place. I just made up that term. We'd both be millionaires. It's a lie to say that the majority of Jimmy's audience are right wingers. However, think about this, Cenk. You're taking Jimmy's greatest strength and the greatest strength of the progressive movement and now using it as a liability. What do I mean? Here's what I mean, ladies and gentlemen. What if all of us have been complaining about for the last forever? We hate the duopoly, we hate the two-party system, blah, 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 blah. Right? I've all been complaining about that. You know what Jimmy Dore represents? And Cenk is not, he doesn't have the political ability to pivot mentally because he's stuck in the same bifurcated world that CNN and MSNBC are in, where everybody that has a right-leaning opinion about a given thing is automatically wrong.
Good job, babe.
Right?
The way you worded it.
So let's think about this for a second. One of the things that Cenk doesn't understand, or it doesn't seem that he's reflected on, Cenk, why are so many people who otherwise would never give a lefty a hearing, would never give a progressive a hearing, why is it all of a sudden that this guy Jimmy Dore is able to bring in people like me and Sori, who are diehard pro-life? I'm an abolitionist. I'm not even pro-life when it comes to abortion. I've never voted for a Democrat in my entire life. Why is it that I listen to Jimmy Dore on a regular basis? Cenk is not factoring that in. Jimmy does not compromise his progressive ideals. I'm going to go ahead and bet I know exactly where he stands on abortion. So why is it that I listen to him? And why is it that I would vote for him if he ran for office, Cenk? You know why? Because, as Jimmy says on a multitude of occasions, I think the number is like 88% of Democrats favor Medicare for all and 50% of Republicans favor Medicare for all. You know what that is? When you have 80% of one group and 50% of one group, you have a political party that cannot be beaten. Mm-hmm. And I talked about this. In my post-mortem of Bernie Sanders and why he lost. And aside from the fact that Bernie Sanders, in my opinion, is feckless, weak, and he got spoiled by the celebrity that he gained in 2016. So he had nothing left in him to actually fight. Okay? Why is that? And why is it that people like me, for the first time, were about to jump ship and vote for Bernie Sanders in 2016. Well, of course, I didn't get the opportunity to because that was taken from us by the Democrat establishment. Cenk, it is foolish for you to mock Jimmy Dore when Jimmy Dore is literally the prototype of what could save America. I am not saying Jimmy Dore could save America. I'm saying that he is prototypical. His movement is telling us something about America. And he actually has shown some political intrigue. The force the vote thing, was brilliant politics. And I'm sorry, you and Anna, for all your poli-sci degrees and all the other brilliant talking heads, I got mad respect for Crystal, all the rest of them. Nobody came up with that idea. Jimmy came up with that idea. So he's proven that he understands the zeitgeist of the normal person on the street, whether they're left wing or right wing. Jimmy Dore didn't jump on this anti-Trumpism where everybody who voted for Trump was a horrible, disgusting racist. Jimmy Dore understood the issues on the ground as to why people were voting for Trump in the first place. 88+% of us believe, on the Democrat side, support Medicare for all. 50% of us on the Republican side support Medicare for all. Don't you see it, Cenk? Instead, and this is what I said when I was doing the postmortem Bernie Sanders, I said progressives do not know how to organize. They don't. And this is a perfect example. Cenk, all of this is about Cenk's ego. It's about Cenk and Anna's ego. These people are willing to put the progress of actual progressivism. What would happen if Glenn Greenwald, Jimmy, TYT, all these people, what would our country look like right now if all of them came together and did force the vote?
Right.
Where would we be right now with the fight for 15? Where would we be with the $2,000 checks for stimulus? Where would we be with having a real shot at Medicare for all? What would have happened but what did the progressives do? Well, I didn't come up with the idea, and I'm friends with AOC, blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to go and kill force the vote. And then when force the vote dies and we no longer have any power or leverage, then I'm going to go shoot some video in my room somewhere and then talk about how we need a fool. The fact that there are Republicans, there are people like me who would never consider voting for a pro-abortion candidate, the fact that he could convince us, hey, Vin, you know endless wars are a pro-life issue too. Good point, Jimmy. Hey, Vin, people dying of preventable diseases in our country only because we have a monetary healthcare system that is incentivized by money and not by helping people. You know, a lot of people die there too. Isn't that a pro-life issue, Vin? Holy shit, Jimmy, you're right. What about these kids at the border? Is that a pro-life issue? You're right. There are multiple pro-life issues. So this guy found a way to get a guy like me to give him a hearing. And that is his greatest strength. And that is the future of progressivism. And that is literally how we win. What Jimmy's doing is literally how we win. And what is Cenk saying? Cenk is saying we need to bifurcate even more. Those 50% of Republicans who support Medicare for all, man, fuck those people. Keep them over there. We're going to be progressives. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep bifurcating America. We're going to keep dividing America. And then what we're going to do, if somebody gets some sort of progressive candidate in there, he's not going to be able to do anything because you've bifurcated the country such that anybody that gets elected into the House and the Senate is going to be part of this East Coast, West Coast bullshit. And even if the progressive candidate gets in there, he's not going to be able to action anything because of this division. Whereas in another scenario where you get a candidate that can unite 89% of Democrats and 50% of Republicans, and that dovetails into House and Senate votes in midterms, then you can actually change the world, Cenk. So Jimmy's a bad guy because he's getting people to fucking forget about this divisive bullshit and work together as common Americans. I can look brother in the face and say, you know what, Bricktown, I'm not with you on the abortion thing, but you and I are together on the Medicare for all things. Let's get together and fight that battle. And then once we've fought the Medicare for all battle, then we can try to save babies and figure out how to make stuff work. Of course, if you have Medicare for all and people are not under so much financial duress and they get student loan forgiveness, maybe these girls will say, you know what, maybe I don't need to abort my kid. Maybe I can actually have my kid and make it. But no, Cenk is a representative of everything that's wrong with American politics. I'm saying he represents it. Cenk, it is good that Jimmy Dore has people like me who would actually vote for him. That is what Bernie Sanders was going to accomplish if your friends at the DNC didn't cut him off at the knees and he didn't become fat and happy by his newfound fame and celebrity, Mr. Do you want the country to be controlled by millionaires and billionaires in 2016, and then he became a millionaire in 2018, and all of a sudden it was the billionaires that were bad. Unbelievable stuff. Very, very disappointing. We continue. I just had to stay on that point, guys. That is a massively true point. And to your point, Ron Paul was ahead of them to a degree. To a degree. Ron Paul is nightmarishly evil when it comes to healthcare. And I mean that. He's evil when it comes to healthcare. But again, those are conversations that we all can have together. You know, Jimmy quoted Ron Paul favorably a couple days ago. That's how you do it. You don't demonize the other side. You say, wait a second, there are some very good reasons why the common person would vote for Trump. It's one of the things I was trying to get people to see all the last year. That's the reason Jimmy gets a hearing, is because people who voted for Trump go, okay, well, he didn't smear us. He didn't victim blame us. He actually tried to understand us. Imagine that. Imagine that.
And the last time he was asked about it, they said I was being inappropriate at work. I was a misogynist, Bernie sexist. That's all they got. Completely
for something that you apologized for at the time.
Yes.
And that was never an issue.
Never an issue.
And I'm not going to relitigate that, but I do not support or agree with sexual harassment in the workplace in any way, shape, or form. However, the point stands. He apologized. She accepted it. She has not once denied that she accepted Jimmy's apology, nor, as a matter of fact, in her gray mail threat to him, she talked about, you apologized for it. So why bring it up again?
I made a joke in the workspace, immediately apologized for it, wrote a card, and that was before #MeToo. That was without a blackmail threat, and that was without a pressure campaign. That's because we were friends. Everybody was friends. And I showed you the kind of videos they played at the Young Turks and the stuff that they did. Everybody talked about sex unbelievably. Shit. There's no bottom. But here we go.
There's no bottom.
Here we go.
Yes, but that's disturbing. And he's said and done terrible things. He's a complete and utter liar.
Okay, it's disturbing that the Daily Stormer called him out. Instead of saying, this is like Christians. You know, like there was there was one time when these guys were doing a miracle, but they weren't in Jesus's little inner circle. So the disciples went to them and said, "Hey, stop doing that. Stop speaking in the name of our teacher." And Jesus said, "What the hell are you guys doing? He can't use my name to extract demons out of people and then blaspheme me. What are you guys doing? This is a guy that could be on our team. What are you doing?" See? That's the mindset. I'm glad the Daily Stormer said whatever about Jimmy Dore. You know why? Because I guarantee you the vast majority of Daily Stormer adherents have never seen Jimmy Dore and don't know who he is. So you know what's going to happen? They're going to look him up, and then they're going to see a guy in a garage, high as a kite, fighting like mad to get them health care, get them some relief, etc., etc., etc. So I'm glad, because I guarantee you that Jimmy is going to deconvert a bunch of these neo-Nazis. Nobody ever stops to think about why neo-Nazism is on the rise in America. Trump is not the reason. Trump was just the flashpoint. He's not the reason. Listen, man. Neo-Nazism has risen in America for the same reason that Nazism arose in Germany. When you get a bunch of people together and they're getting wrecked by powers that are above them that they have no control of, and they're beaten down and they feel terrible about themselves, they're susceptible to the ideology that says, no, actually, you're superior, and the reason that you're sucking at life isn't because of you, it's because of these people. So these people from the Daily Stormer, they're going to plug into Jimmy Dore, and they're going to see somebody actually fighting for them. and then the necessity to be a Nazi will fade away. I think there's some dyed-in-the-wool Nazis that will always be Nazis, but I'm sorry. I don't believe that people who hold to Nazi ideology are some special kind of human being that are irredeemable and cannot be converted. They can be. And I believe by God's grace that God will use Jimmy Dore to do that, because he's going to give them a different alternative to get out of their misery. Now, look, I understand that can be a little Pollyannish, but the only reason people are probably thinking that I'm being naive is because we've taken these people and we've demonized them, and we have completely ignored all of the epigenetic factors that go into why they're in the situation that they're in and why they hold to the idea that they hold to. Racism is not some sort of steady state, static attribute in a person. People grow, people evolve. Cenk, like you grew and evolved. Like 10 years ago, you or 8 years ago, you were a left winger, and now you're a corporate Democrat. See, people evolve, Cenk.
What did I lie? What did I lie about? What?
So beware, buyer beware. And by the way, what does Jimmy do all day, every day? Attack progressives.
That's, first of all, that's not true. What I do all day, every day is smoke pot. So I don't have time to do that and attack progressives all day.
Well, Jimmy's a progressive and you're attacking him. As a matter of fact, everything I've seen from you guys about Jimmy is an attack on him. So that means that you, Cenk, are just ridiculous. If Jimmy says something dumb about abortion, I'm going to get at him. Cenk, if you say something right about healthcare, I'm going to agree with you. Okay? This stupid idea that if somebody's on your team, you can't criticize them, Cenk, is all part of the previous version of politics. It's 2021 now. God almighty.
Too. So that's on its face, you can tell that. Okay, here we go. What does Jimmy do all day, every day? Attack progressives. That's what he says.
Just Democrats are no good. You shouldn't trust the progressives in Congress. Now, I just criticize
Justice Democrats are a group that was begun by Cenk. Now, I said it was begun by Cenk. Why is Cenk no longer part of the group that he founded? Why did the Justice Democrats get rid of Cenk Uygur? Why did they do it? Here's the Huffington Post. I think we can all agree Huffington Post is a nice little left-wing outlet, right? So let's see. Maybe the Huffington Post can get us some insights as to why this brother is no longer with the Justice Democrats, shall we? Because that's the group. Jimmy's a bad person for disagreeing with the Justice Democrats, and I'm going to show you right now why is it what the Justice Democrats said about Cenk. Oh, look. Progressive group ousts Cenk Uygur over past sexist writing. Cenk got excommunicated from the group that he started because of how sexist his writing was. The Justice Democrats ousted Cenk Uygur, one of its founding board members and a creator of progressive online network TYT, following the Thursday revelation that Uygur had authored sexist blog posts in the early 2000s. The left-leaning political organizations, which Uygur and many others established this year to support progressive primary, blah, blah, blah. And then they said, the words and conduct in Mr. Uygur and Mr. Kohler's post degrade what it means to be a Justice Democrat. We do not feel that Mr. Uygur is fit to lead or participate in an organization that truly believes women's issues and the issues of black and brown people are all of our issues. Okay? Now the Justice Democrats did something very brilliant with that. You know why I say it's brilliant? Because they know good and well it wasn't really the blog posts that were the problem. It was the videos that Jimmy showed us less than a week ago. That was the problem. So they made, that was pretty brilliant. They made reference. They made reference to the blog, when in reality it was because of the videos. The only reason that's relevant, dear listener, is because this fool, God help me, stop insulting these people. These people tried to act as if They were all warriors for justice, and none of this stuff has anything to do with the progressive movement, yada, 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 which was all lies, obviously.
Democrats a little bit earlier, even though
I see when Jimmy does it, it's bad and he's wrong. When I do it, it's good. This is amazing. This is the example he picks. He says, first, I'm a Nazi. My followers are right wing.
You gotta come in here.
And I criticize the Democrats, which he just did in this segment.
Janky baby. All right, we continue. See, Jimmy Dore is a comedian, so he always makes me laugh. So Jimmy's bad for disagreeing with the progressives. That means he's a neo-Nazi, but it's okay when he does it. So yeah, we continue. Unbelievable.
That I am blessed with the dumbest, most idiotic fucking enemies in the world. I am so blessed. You know, Marcus Aurelius would pray, and thank God he would pray, say, thank you for my enemies because they're so easy. And that's how I feel here. This is...
Hey, listen. Sleep on Jimmy Dore at your own peril, okay? Sleep on this man at your own peril. You know, he's got this shtick, and I understand it. You know, where he's like, yeah, you know, I'm just some a guy in my
Garage.
basement, my garage. No, he's not. He's probably one of the most acute political thinkers we've seen in a long time. Show me anybody who has come up with something so brilliant as forced the vote in the last 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. Let's do this. Your lifetime. Show me any movement that is as grassroots and people oriented and people empowering than force the vote in your entire political career.
Unbelievable. He does not have a wartime consigliere. So this is them just going off the cuff, trying to fucking smear me. He hadn't thought it through, and now it's hilarious. Here we go.
founded it. I thought they should have fought harder on $15 minimum wage. I thought they should have voted no. I thought
They should have fought harder. They didn't fight at all. He should have fought harder on $15 minimum. They didn't fight at all. And you didn't launch a pressure campaign to get him to do it like I did.
should have used their power, right? But that requires nuance. But now, on infrastructure bill, they're actually fighting really hard, and they are blocking the bill. So it depends on the facts, et cetera, but that's what an intelligent person does. Jimmy, on the other hand, wants to tear down all progressives. He almost never criticizes Trump. That's why his audience is mainly right.
Trump has a president for fucking 6 months. For half a year. And this guy, why don't you talk about Trump more?
Yeah, I mean, why would
Can you imagine? Can you imagine Tucker Carlson being like, you know, I can't stand that Neil Cavuto. He's not saying anything about Obama.
Ridiculous.
Cenk, what would you? if in June, right, of 2016, 17, that's when Mr. Trump took office. Can you imagine if Tucker Carlson did a show and said, we know that Neil Cavuto is a secret left-winger? Why? How do we know? Well, because he won't talk about Obama.
Oh, my gosh.
Halfway into the first year of the Trump administration. Ridiculous. I don't understand. Like, Cenk is not, listen, there's a passage in the Bible that's talking about the devil where it says, you corrupted your wisdom for the sake of your splendor. Mm-hmm. That's why I tell my kids, never make a decision that's fueled by guilt, fear, or ego. Because guilt will put you on a track you can never get out from because you're always going to do something wrong. Fear, 90% of the time, is not real. It is not something you should run away. It's something you should confront. And ego will always, always destroy your reasoning faculties. I'm sorry. Nobody who does what Cenk Uygur has accomplished is dumb. Cenk is not dumb. He is highly, highly skilled, highly intelligent, brilliant operator. It's amazing to me that people, I was just watching a conversation, somebody was saying something about Kevin Durant. They're like, Kevin Durant, win a real ring, blah, blah, blah. And somebody says, my man, what the hell have you done? What have you accomplished in your life that's anywhere even close to what Durant has accomplished? All these people, oh, Cenk's an idiot, Jimmy's an idiot, AOC's an idiot. Yeah, okay, give me your, show me what you've done. Cenk is not an idiot. What's happening here is you're seeing the same thing that happened to our old buddy Lucy has happened to Mr. Cenk. Cenk has suspended his ability to rationalize consistently because Jimmy is harming his ego. Because they put Jimmy on as some sort of like also red. Yeah, okay, come on. You can be part of our little club, aggressive progressives. And then when Jimmy broke off, you guys had all this nice stuff to say about him because you thought that he was going to go. You know what happened with Rising where he just plummeted? Yeah. That's what they thought was going to happen to Jimmy. And really, Jimmy exploded after he left. And it turns out that you guys were holding him back.
Surprise.
So now you're embarrassed that this guy that you didn't take seriously is now completely the voice of progressivism. And Jimmy is now everything that you wanted TYT to be when you first launched it.
Wow.
When you were actually a progressive and you had dreams, Jimmy Dore was you wanted to be Jimmy Dore. What do you think would happen if Jimmy Dore ran for office for the same position that you ran for, Cenk?
With as much money as you had doing
What do you think would happen with Jimmy? See what Cenk would do with this type of power and influence is he would convert it into actual a political position. That's why I say he's brilliant. He's brilliant, but he's lost his way.
Yeah.
He took all that corporate money, he lost his way, and now you've got a guy who's an actual real progressive that people are like, yo, this dude is bona fide, he's the real deal. And now you're jealous, and Jimmy Dore is a constant reminder from God that you sold out, bro.
Yep.
That's what's happening.
Yep.
And that's why a guy with your level of intellect, Cenk, is saying the stupidest, silliest, most inconsistent things. You're not stupid, silly, and you're not stupid and silly. You're brilliant. But your ego is now running the ship. And it's making you look like a damn fool.
It is now crashing.
It's making you look like a fool. I didn't say you were a fool. I did earlier and I apologize. Don't come after me 7 years later and say, Vin, remember you said that to me.
That's how polluted his brain is. On Trump derangements, because his whole business model is getting clicks off of Trump. And now it's gone and he doesn't know what to do. And now his biggest video is when he talks about me. And he gets ratioed on it.
He gets what?
Chris, he never criticizes Republicans. His excuse is
it must really. We were watching that thing about Mozart.
Yeah.
And you didn't see. It was this movie about Mozart, right?
Uh-huh.
And you know Mozart's probably him and Beethoven. It's like Kirk Hammett versus whoever, or Ingwe Malmsteen versus the dude from Megadeth or whatever, right? Like in this movie, Mozart is this brash kid who doesn't take music seriously, but he's so gifted that he just kind of wakes up and goes, ah, and then he goes off drinking, cavorting with women. Well, throughout the movies, there's this other guy who's like dedicated his entire life to being, and he's great, but he's not Mozart. So the entire movie is this guy just completely mentally unraveling because he's so jealous of Mozart.
Wow.
And the thing that gets him the most is that Mozart doesn't try. And so here's Jimmy just laughing at Cenk, just like a child. And that's the thing that gets
Trump hasn't been president for
that's the thing that gets
6 months.
Gets Cenk. It's that laugh.
For half a year. And this guy, why don't you talk about Trump more? That's how polluted his brain is. On Trump derangements, because his whole business model is getting clicks off of Trump. And now it's gone and he doesn't know what to do. And now his biggest video is when he talks about me.
And he gets ratioed at all.
And he gets ratioed on it.
Chris, he never criticizes Republicans.
What is ratioed? What is ratioed?
Okay, so that means that. Okay, so remember when the whole Gaza-Israel thing was happening? Shout out to Gaza, free Gaza. And Cenk tried to make it all about religion. He's like, oh, it's your sky daddy, blah, 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 when we all know it was about colonialism. And so Aaron Monte said, God told me this was the stupidest post you've ever done. Well, Cenk in his original post got like 8 hearts and like 5 retweets. When Monte put that down, he got like 500 hearts and 78 retweets.
I forgot that's what
So,
it is. Yeah.
it's the same thing that happens. Cenk puts a video out,
Oh, jeez.
and they all dislike it, and then all the comments are out there defending. Which, again, if you're a music reaction channel, honestly, just to let you guys in, the likes and dislikes go into your score in regard to engagement. Okay, so YouTube categorizes that as your engagement score. Okay, so likes, dislikes, and comments increase your engagement score, whether it's positive or negative. It increases your engagement score. So so for us, the likes or dislikes are completely irrelevant to me. As a matter of fact, I love it when there's more dislikes than likes, because that means we really got under people's skin. And there's something wrong with the human psychology that when somebody really bothers you and annoys you, you keep going back to them. And that's why Howard Stern became Howard Stern. So again, a lot of this has to do with what your business model is and what you're trying to accomplish on YouTube. But so for me, I love it. I love the like-dislike ratio. It doesn't matter. But if you're a political channel and you're trying to influence policy, then likes and dislikes are absolutely pertinent, because that's the mechanism that you're going to use to initiate change.
Yeah.
His excuse is he's not relevant.
So this is that loyalty test. You have to. Are you? So this is when he went on Twitter and he tweeted. I think you, Glenn Greenwald. Did he include Matt Taibbi? And he's like, "When are you guys going to criticize Trump? When are you guys going to criticize?" He did this like a week ago.
It was Russia. He wanted us to denounce Russia.
Yeah. Oh, when are you going to I'm sorry. When are you going to criticize Putin because of how he was treating Navalny? That was it.
Yeah.
What? Yeah. When are you guys going to criticize Putin? That was it. You're right. Here we go. Here we go.
He's one of the major one of the major parties in this country. He's a lunatic who hates democracy. And you don't think that's relevant? Yeah, you don't think it's relevant because all your money and all of your audience is the right wing.
All of Jimmy's money and his audience, they're all right wing. And that's why he won't go after Trump. It's not, Cenk, that Trump is not the president anymore, and the current president, Cenk, has cages full of kids, and the VP that he deployed to handle the border crisis, which was no border crisis, but now is a border crisis. I don't know, Cenk. The VP that was sent down told those people, stay home. We're going to enforce our laws. That's what happened, Cenk. But he's the right winger when the person you told us to vote for is literally doing the same thing that Trump was. Actually, Trump didn't go over there and tell those people to their face, stay home. He didn't do that. He did it from the comfort of Twitter. He's like, why would I get on a plane and go to a completely different country when I can communicate the same thing on Twitter? Shorty went all the way over there to Guatemala to tell those people, stay home. But he's the right-wing hack. Jimmy's the right-wing hack. And you told us all to vote for a guy who has a less charitable border policy than Trump.
Cenk got money from Wall Street. He got money from the DNC's biggest donors and right-winger Buddy Roemer. This is what's called projection. Remember we talked about Carl Jung and projection? That's what this is. That's exactly this guy. He's corporate funded to the teeth by the tune of $24 million. But Jimmy Dore smoking pot in his garage, somehow that's the dirty money. The guy who after every video says, don't keep your money, don't give me money. That's what I do after every video. But somehow I'm the one corrupted, and this guy. Okay, here we go.
Any progressive who gets tricked into believing Jimmy Dore is on your side, just look at his program. Well, don't. But if you look at his program, he's everything he says is over the top, ridiculous. It's lies. His lies about me are.
Well, let me.
Why did he say don't look into it?
Well, he says if you look at it, he's like, don't look at this program. He doesn't want people to watch Jimmy's show. So he's saying, don't watch it. Because he's got this very strange idea that he can speak with authority. You notice that? Like, he really...
Yeah, he does.
It's like him saying, hey, if you didn't know that Jimmy said this before, you're okay. Remember when he was talking about that with Anna? Like, you don't have that kind of influence, bro. Jimmy's got that. Jimmy has that type of influence. And you know what's funny? He never tells folks what to do. It's funny. The guy with the actual authority talks to us like he's just one of us.
Yeah.
And you, who have no authority and you've lost all your credibility, is out here pontificating to us who we should watch, what we should believe, what. Good night. I'm glad. I'm not going to say that. Woo! Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. You spared me. I'll tell you what I was going to say and why I stopped saying it later. Unbelievable.
Endless. If you ever listen to anything he says,
did I lie when I said you smeared Julian Assange as a Trumper? No. Did I lie when you said when you McCarthy smeared an award-winning journalist, Aaron Matei? No. Did I lie when I say you did shady fundraising business practices? No. Did I lie when I said you were lying when you tried to mislead everybody and kneecap forced the vote when you said McCarthy could become speaker? No. What lied, Cenk? Here's another thing I said that is true that he's going to say I lied about. Watch this.
a terrible mistake. He says, I'm in favor of bombing Syria. I've never said that.
Oops. Cenk. Yes, you did.
Okay, now, Cenk actually brought this up in the Anna video. And I specifically said, Jimmy,
They need to show the video.
where are the receipts? Because Jimmy's been saying this for a while.
Yeah.
So, where are the receipts, Jimmy?
Yes, you did. We got a video of you saying that. Anyway, I'm going to play this. I'm going to let you watch Aaron Matei handle this. And then I'll show you the video. Here we go.
He's a preposterous liar.
Preposterous.
He's a ridiculous liar, and he serves the right wing, and his effort is to destroy the progressive movement from within.
What in the world is he talking about? How ignorant does he think his viewers are? Like, my God.
Well, it's not his viewers, it's Rising. I think this video got like there are like 9 people that were watching that video. Like, there's probably more people in our live stream right now than Rising. Our little channel, a little mom and pop channel that we do for a hobby is getting more views than Rising. But okay, so now we've got the real conspiracy. Let me get this straight. Aaron Matei, you think that dear listener, you think that Aaron Matei is at his computer writing articles and such? You're wrong. He's in his bed, completely encased in a Russian blankie, with a red computer, okay, that was given to him by Putin. So while Aaron is doing that, Jimmy's sitting next to him as a Republican plant. I'll tell you what, these Republicans sure as hell know how to play the long game. This guy, Jimmy Dore, has been on the public in the public eye for quite some time. He was in TYT, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, and he's been constant. I mean, Jimmy's the one that like went toe to toe, like literally got physical with Alex Jones. He spit on him.
Yes.
Like Jimmy's one of these guys that like will literally, like, if this was 20 years ago, he'd be in Antifa. Like, to question Jimmy Dore's leftist credibility, it just indicates how far gone Cenk is and how out of touch he is with the original base of his audience. You cannot. That would be like Jay-Z.
It's Hillary, too.
It's
They're
like
they were.
Yeah.
It's the same
It's
disorder going on. Like, you have no idea what's going on in the people you're talking to.
Candace Owens said that Jay was from Queens. Everybody knows that Jay's from Brooklyn. Cough up along where I'm from. Marcy, son, ain't nothing nice. Like, what is this? It would be like if Jay-Z said that DMX wasn't a real gangster. Jay-Z was doing shows on Oprah and shit, saying that DMX, a real gutter dude, isn't a gangster. It's ridiculous! But the difference is Jay has a lot of self-awareness. Jay would never say some dumb shit like that. And no, I did not mention Antifa as if it was a good thing. I don't believe that Antifa is a good thing. What I'm saying is Jimmy's a real deal and he's willing to pay prices for his progressivism is what I'm saying.
I agree, Riley.
That tan guy on the left.
Rising makes me uncomfortable. Me too. Every time I see him, I feel uncomfortable.
He's I'm trying not to. No, we continue.
Beware of
Beware.
the crap that they are selling.
Beware.
So now Cenk Uygur is...
Beware. Jimmy's a secret plant of the Republicans. I've never laughed so hard. Oh my God.
Admitted a union buster who is now pushing imperialism and CIA talk.
Correct. Cenk is a union buster. The folks at TYT try to, you know, I'm telling you.
That's right, yeah.
In the next 60 to 90, I guarantee you, somebody from that organization is going to leak some shit, and it's going to be.
It's going to be crazy.
It's going to be. You watch. That's what happens when you're so caught up in your ego and you lack self-awareness. You don't analyze what you say. It puts you in a situation where you lose touch with reality itself.
Yeah, and I think that there's Jimmy kind of gives you this authentic sort of real feel where like Cenk and Anna make you feel like they're making fun of you behind your back. It doesn't matter who you are. Oh. They're making fun of all of you.
Well, they won't do it behind your back. I mean, you saw
like,
what Anna did. Anna said, "I'm better than you." She literally said that.
Yeah.
If you voted for Trump, I'm better than you. Like they have an obvious disdain for people that watch them. They hate the people that, well, I'm not going to say they hate the people that watch them, but they obviously don't respect the people that watch them. And how could they? Because they know what they are. See, that's the thing. They can't hide their own they can't hide their own disdain for their own constituency. And it's you can see by how obvious the lies are. They don't even try. They don't even try to give you a well-packaged lie. See, that's how you know these people don't respect you. Like our kids, like they sit and come up with really complex lies.
So bad.
It's because they respect us. That's why. Because they know they can't come at us with some weak sauce lie. We'll see through it immediately.
Oh my
so Dorian has to come up with like a 9-layer, like Inception level lie.
Yeah.
He's brilliant. It's very it's terrifying stuff. But that's because he respects us. These people don't even respect you well enough to lie to you properly. Young Turks.
Points while smearing Julian Assange and anti-war journalists. You tell me who's the progressive. You tell me that he took $24 million from the DNC and Clinton. He's got a board that billionaires sit on. That guy. And he's telling you to beware of a pothead comedian in his garage. Do you hear what he's saying? Yes. Okay, here we go. And here comes Buzzsaw Aaron Matei to take him down.
I gotta stop this real quick. Chris, as a black person, please do not compare Antifa to the Black Panthers. It's not the same thing. Not even close. The Antifa people were the people that were destroying shit during the George Floyd riots or protests, whatever you want to call them. And black people were saying, stop doing that because they're going to come after us. And the Antifa people did it anyway. So I'm not a fan of Antifa. And don't try to co-opt Antifa with the Black Panthers. Not the same thing. And attacking people for wearing American flags, shoving old women to the ground because she's got an American flag. I'm not with that. I don't give a fuck what you call yourself. Mm-hmm. And don't let me see you go after anybody. I'm just saying in general. People have limits. You don't get to go and forcefully and physically put your hands on people because you disagree with them politically. I don't care how racist the person is. This lady was wearing an American flag, and the Antifa person came up to him and said, "You need to remove that symbol of oppression." Blah blah blah. Lady's like, "What are you talking about?" They put their hands on her. Don't you dare compare Black Panthers, Huey Newton, with that bullshit. We weren't about that. The Black Panthers were marching. They had their guns ready, and so when the cops would stop one of us, they had their guns and the cops had their guns, and then we had a standoff. Mm-hmm. Black Panthers were willing to die over this shit. These kids in Antifa aren't willing to die for shit. And they have political friends that bail them out of prison when they get locked up. Don't get me started on Antifa. I'm not a fan. We continue.
Mention you, but we wanted to give you a chance to respond to some of the previous statements, especially around Syria.
Yeah, well, look, Jimmy can respond for himself, and I hope you will bring him on to answer what Cenk has said. By the way, I caught one egregious lie where Cenk just said that he didn't advocate bombing Syria. There's a clip from the Young Turks in 2013
All right,
that's
where
been
is
circulating where he does advocate.
Where is it? Show me the clip.
He said he's going to show it.
Cenk is lying because Cenk is a liar, as we saw when Cenk declared on his show that I'm paid by the Russians. without any evidence, because there is none. He's just making it up. And look, I think when Cenk talks about Jimmy's audience being right-wing, he's projecting. Jimmy's success over these last few years has come from the fact that he's speaking to an audience that is upset by the Democratic Party because they haven't been left-wing enough.
Correct. Mm-hmm. That is obviously Jimmy's audience, Cenk. Look, Jimmy just left the Young Turks like a year and a half ago. Mm-hmm. So, and he wasn't kicked out, he left, Cenk. So let me get this straight. When did Jimmy transform into this right-wing plant? Are you saying, Cenk, that he was a right-wing plant the entire time he was at TYT and you guys couldn't figure it out? Is that and he was a right-wing plant like after too, and you guys kept endorsing him, and then all of a sudden, it was during Force the Vote, where Jimmy was trying to organize people for the most left-wing policy of all time that had an actual chance to win. That is where the fracture really happened. Well, the Russiagate nonsense in 2020, but the fracture really happened with you two on that issue. Mm-hmm. And so let me get this straight. The ultimate evidence that Jimmy's a right-wing hack is because you and his relationship ended because you were running interference for corporate Democrats and Republicans, Cenk. But that proves that he is the right-wing plant? Okay.
He's actually an authentic progressive, and he's attracted people who are upset by the fact that the Democratic Party establishment has abandoned it, and attracted people who are upset that outlets like the Young Turks that portray themselves as being progressive have abandoned progressive values and have done things like advocating for foreign interventions, and in the case of Russiagate, buying into the dumbest conspiracy theory of all time, which Jimmy Dore debunked. So I think that's what helps explains this.
Jimmy Dore was at the forefront of the he was even before Aaron in some areas of the
oh wow.
of the Syria situation and the Russia situation. I'm telling you, Jimmy is stunting like he's ignorant. Jimmy's one of the most shrewd, intelligent players we've seen in a very, very long time.
Animus and these lies towards Jimmy Dore by Cenk. And then I got involved when they directed it at me. I was in Syria recently doing some reporting, and they had Cenk and Anna Kasparian had this on-air meltdown where they said I'm paid by the Russians, that I deny the killing of children.
And here's my problem with Rising right now. And look, they should have done this because they're in trouble. Rising, why didn't you play the clip of him falsely accusing Aaron of being a Russian whatever, and then make him answer for it? Say, Cenk, where is this information? Where's your proof?
Yep.
And if he starts going off at the mouth, you say, thank you, but where is the proof that Aaron Mate was a Russian hack? Where is the proof? Do you have some sort of wire, some smoking gun that he was working for Bashar al-Assad? Where is it? I'd like to know. I'd like to see it. See, if you did that, it would create a giant meltdown. Cenk would give you great material, and you guys would be watchable. But you guys didn't do that. So now you're unwatchable. You see how that works?
Anna Kasparian said that I likely work for dictators, and she gave me the finger and told me to F off. It was insane. And I think that meltdown reflects just like a general hostility that they have towards people who are upholding actual progressive values.
Told you.
And upholding actual journalism standards.
So that was awesome, the way you handled that. And then they wanted to switch the subject real quick, but you brought it right back. So their next question was this.
Well, thanks for giving us your side, Aaron. While we have you here, we wanted to get your thoughts on...
Well, that's not his side. The brilliance of 2021, by God's grace, is that we have video evidence of all of this. So I didn't even need Aaron's testimony as to what happened because all of this is on video. So this is the thing about the Hill. You guys are playing the safe, whatever. Okay, fine. But there's no reason anybody's going to watch you. You could have really done something special here. Unbelievable.
Recent U.S. foreign policy developments with the Ukraine.
Okay, but look, let me first address the Syria part of this because it's important. So the reason why they slandered me at that time is because I was in Syria. And Syria is a touchy subject for many people on the left. It has been divisive. But the facts to me are pretty overwhelming. And there's only a very small group of journalists that have been willing to acknowledge them. My colleagues and I at the Gray Zone are among them. So are Jimmy Dore, by the way. Jimmy Dore has been telling the truth about the fact that the U.S. and its allies have waged a multi-billion-dollar dirty war that left Syria in ruins. And I saw it firsthand when I was there. And a part of that reporting that I've done has been on this scandal at the OPCW, the world's top chemical weapons watchdog, where you have evidence of a very significant cover-up. So basically, in April 2018, the U.S., Britain, and France bombed Syria after they accused Syria of committing a chemical attack in the town of Douma. And there was video footage from Douma put out by militants who controlled it at the time of dead bodies. And they said that they were killed by a chemical attack. So
even Alex Jones, how shameful. Even Alex Jones is right on this stuff, and DJ would know. DJ's my buddy. He's supposed to text me every day. He never does. That bum. And then when he texts me, it's we continue.
Trump led the way in bombing Syria. A year later, the OPCW came out with a report basically aligning with the U.S. narrative that Syria was guilty of a chlorine attack. But then we got an extraordinary series of leaks that showed that actually the inspectors from the OPCW who went to Douma, they wrote up a report, and that report said there was no evidence of a chemical attack. And if you read the report closely, you actually see indications that they found evidence that this thing was staged.
See, this is one of the reasons you should be grateful to God that you're in 2021, because you and I both know 10 years ago we'd have known nothing about this shit, and we'd have boys over there, more boys than we do right now, raising hell over there for those poor people over there in Syria. You know that. So Aaron and Jimmy have been instrumental by God's grace to keep us out of furthering our national sin debt by destroying more and more beautiful people over there in Syria. Literally, both of these people should get a medal. Because think about it. You got a handful of people did the good work of journalism to make public support for that kind of interventionism damn near impossible. A, we would have never been able to have access to this information just 10 years ago. And B, the vast majority of people who do have access to information in this particular time won't tell the truth because there's a monetary and a political backlash that happens when you do so. And we're playing games with the lives of these people. I hope you understand that if you're an American. We just willy-nilly go through places. Look what happened in Libya. They reinstituted the institution of slavery in Libya. Literally, when you had black people on the dock. And by the way, I'm sorry, but if you want to talk about slavery and who the worst slavers of all time has been, nobody on the planet can compare to what the Arab Muslims have done in the slave trade. It's not even close. And I'm saying this as a lover of Muslim people and a lover of that region. You guys know how I get down, but facts are facts. Here is the logical ramification of American interventionism. That's a bunch of very dark, very black people that are being processed for the slave market because of Barack Hussein Obama's interventionist policy over there in Libya. And after Miss Hillary Clinton had done God's work, the work of her God, to do this to these people, she said, we came, we saw, we killed him. That's American interventionism. That's the face of American interventionism. So, look, I understand that at some level this is a sort of, a pissing contest of egos and all the rest of it. But you have to understand something. These people were trying to get us to support shout out to Tim Pool. These people were trying to get us to support another interventionist regime change war that would have continuously destabilized the region more than it is, and it resulted in massive death of innocent people. And I include Syrian soldiers because when you invade somebody's country and they defend themselves, they're still innocent.
Instead of having their findings released to the public, people above them censored their report, tried to doctor the conclusions to falsely suggest Syrian government guilt. And basically, these inspectors, after they protested the censorship, they were taken off of the case. And we know this now because of a huge trove of documents that have come out via WikiLeaks and also at the Gray Zone. So I've been reporting on this for the last 2 years. It's an extraordinary story. It's a major pro-war deception, and it's allegations of a cover-up at the world's top chemical weapons watchdog, basically in the interest of the U.S.
Just really quickly, because Ave True Caesar made a salient point of the millions of holes in the theory about that Assad gassed his own people. Obama gave his red light speech and Assad gasses his own people like a week later. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. When has Bashar al-Assad ever projected that sort of acerbic type of relationship, defiant type of relationship with America? When has that ever happened?
I've been pretty much alone in the U.S. media and covering it. And so the Young Turks, instead of covering this story, have ignored it. And then when I went to Syria and I put out a short video talking about it, that helped trigger this meltdown. So what they've done in doing this is actually helping to bring attention to the story, which the rest of media have ignored, which I'm grateful for. But it also shows how progressive media outlets have been completely co-opted into going along with the talking points and narratives of the establishment, to the point that they're willing to slander independent journalists who are covering such an explosive story, such as a cover-up at the world's top chemical weapons watchdog. So,
and Tasco made the true point. Glenn Greenwald and Aaron Mate are probably the most important journalists alive today. And by the way, also some of the bravest human beings you'll ever meet in your life. Ladies and gentlemen, Glenn Greenwald has like 24/7 protection. They did a segment with Jimmy where Glenn Greenwald, he's in Brazil, and he's received death threats. Folks in his crew have already been killed over this shit. Like, these guys are the real deal. Aaron Mate just came back from Syria. So while Cenk and Anna are out there in LA getting their Starbucks and all the rest of it, look, I don't resent them for that. Live a comfortable life, bro. You did all the work. But you cannot then go after somebody who's actually grinding and putting their lives in danger to get us the truth. Cenk? But I still haven't seen this thing where Cenk is promoting bombing people. So I still haven't seen it, and I'm not letting it go. Where is the proof? Jimmy? Huh?
It's been a very unpleasant experience, but on the positive side, it has helped bring attention to this important story of the OPCW whistleblowers. I just wanted to make that clear.
Bam.
Well, Aaron, thank you for your.
That's how you take control of an interview. And, you know, in these two guys who are interviewing, in their defense, I don't think this is their real job. I think they have other jobs. I don't think that's they're just doing this as a thing.
This is just not their thing.
But
bro.
Aaron, that was fantastic. And I want to say personal thank you for defending me like that. You did it.
A couple of years ago, it was great to meet people who came up to me and said, you know, I don't agree with you on most things, but I appreciate your perspective and your honesty, and you've changed my mind on a couple of things. That's great. We want to be able to reach people. But people who drink the Kool-Aid of partisan hackery, like Cenk, as he's made very clear, see that somehow reaching out to a broad audience is an insult. I don't at all. I think it's great. It's a measure of one's effectiveness if they're reaching not just those who already agree with them, but come from a different ideological background. That's the kind of journalism I want to be doing, and that's why it's great to be a part of your show's communities, because we're talking to people who don't agree with us in everything, but they're willing to listen to us, maybe have their minds changed. That's a wonderful thing. But someone like Cenk, who only thinks in terms of partisan hackery, somehow sees that as an insult. So it's interesting that he said that, and very, very revealing. And by the way, also revealing when he says he's a preposterous liar. Who used the word preposterous like that? You know what I mean? He sounds like a member of a country club. He's a preposterous liar.
Dorian.
I do
Dorian
declare
some shit like
that Jimmy Dore Turks, which just decimated them because it revealed them to all be phonies and faux progressives who have faux outrage at me and Aaron Mate right now because we're criticizing them honestly and accurately. And then so they had to pretend that they were now some kind of right-wing Christians who were running a Boy Scout farm over at the Howard Stern show. And so I outed them, right? Cenk would take revenge than that.
We know.
And I knew that, and I knew they were trying to be Howard Stern, and I just ignored it.
Okay, we know. We've heard this before.
On the maniac like Trump. he doubles down. This is him doubling down. Now he's calling me
He's calling you a what, Jimmy? What's he calling you, buddy?
and that he's doing this to deflect because we got him.
Looks like this is a
Sizing
bad,
them, honestly,
bad
and
copy of the video. All right, hold on. I got to get up another video because the fascists. It was the fascists over there that stopped me, guys. But I am not gonna let the fascists win. I am going full bore. We are going to fix this. All right, hold on. I'm gonna get our video back, guys, because this video is encountering technical difficulties. It's not working for some reason. These are the things that we go through, guys. This is what happens when we try to bring you the truth. I'm just messing with you. Nobody's coming after my little station, okay? That's just ridiculous. Nobody's coming after my little station. Nobody's trying to stop us from telling the truth, yada, yada, yada. It's just a technical issue, I'm sure. But every time I do one of these TYT videos, it always ends up bad juju for me. Every single time. And it's so funny because people are like, they're trying to shut you down, Vid. They're trying to shut you down, which I think is kind of silly. I mean, let's be real here, guys. Let's be real here. All right, let's see. I got another copy of the video. So let's see. Where were we at? The 3154. All right, so we're going back.
He is the winner of the
going
IF
back
Stone
here.
Izzy Award.
3154.
Independent journalist.
And so I out in 5 days.
He says,
I don't want to take military.
I'm a preposterous liar.
All right, here we go.
Believing them?
I want to go 60.
2013 that's been circulating where he does advocate bombing Syria. So Cenk is lying because Cenk is a liar.
Did they cross?
Okay, so we finally found it. Bless God. We finally found the clip where Cenk supposedly is pro-bombing Syria. Okay?
The red line, or didn't they? Now, look, I know it's a tough situation, and I've said that about Syria all along, and I know that they're partly buying time here, but the reality is they don't want to go. They were bluffing, hoping that they wouldn't cross the red line, and I know that there was good reason to bluff, because we wanted to make sure they didn't use chemical or biological weapons. But now our bluff's been called, so what are you going to do? Now, let me show you why they don't want to take military action. First of all, the American people have been polled. They don't want to go. 62% say hell no, 24% say yes. Now, I'm partly in the yes category.
So there it is.
Saying you're partly in the yes category is not the same as saying we should bomb them. It just means that he believes that we got to do something. But that doesn't necessarily mean we need to bomb them. So you said that he was co-signing bombing, Jimmy.
People above them censored their report, tried to doctor the conclusions to falsely suggest Syrian government leaks.
Oh, give me a second.
Only reaching.
I lost my place.
We're taking Gaddafi to 340 down. Now he's calling me a neo-Nazi. It's amazing. I'm sure he'll call Aaron Matei KKK tomorrow after Libya.
Say hell no, 24% say yes. Now, I'm partly in the yes category.
So there it is. He's in the yes category.
Partly.
They called our bluff. You have to do something. There's Cenk advocating for bombing Syria. And there's more to it. I'll just cut it. But there's Cenk advocating for bombing Syria. And this is just one video. By the way, there's a video.
That's not advocating for bombing Syria. That's saying, I think something needs to happen. That's not advocating for bombing anyone.
When we were on Current TV together, it was me arguing against Cenk and Johnny, who were pro-bombing Syria. And I'm like, are you guys nuts? You're going to believe the CIA? You're going to believe our intelligence community after Libya, after Iraq? You're still believing them? And so, but those videos are all scrubbed, right? Because those are on Current TV. That's gone. So this is the only one I could get. But there he is. There he is saying, I'm in the yes camp. I'm for bombing Syria.
No, he didn't say I'm for bombing Syria.
Even if you're for it. Even if you're against it, I'm for it.
I don't want ground troops. That would be an absolute mess. But I think if we drew a red line and we said, hey, listen, we're going to set a precedent not to use chemical, biological, or nuclear weapons, and a dictator has crossed that line, I think using our Air Force is a significant possibility, and we could, knock down their entire fleet probably fairly quickly and efficiently.
There you go. We can.
Okay. The only way the Air Force is going to take out the Syrian Navy, aside from a kamikaze attack, would be bombs and missiles, right? Cenk is saying we could do that pretty efficiently. What does pretty efficiently mean? And where are these vessels situated in relationship to its proximity to civilians, Cenk? Do you know? Do you know at all? Do you know how many gun runs, etc., have been canceled because of its proximity to civilian places? Do you know how many arguments people have had before pressing that button and authorizing those strikes? Cenk, do you know anything at all about that? Nope. But here you are saying it could be done pretty easily and efficiently.
We just go in there and knock down their fleet, whatever. No one gets hurt. We just knock it down, and then everything's safe. And then no more chemical attacks. And that's how you do. That's how you fix things. That's Cenk lying, because remember he said that I'm a preposterous liar. A preposterous liar. I do declare I'm a preposterous liar. I never said we should bomb Syria.
I don't understand this, Cenk. Cenk. Look, we've done like 1,300 videos on the other channel. I don't know everything that I've said, but I know I've said controversial things, right? I know I've said that would be like if I were to say I've never said anything against Planned Parenthood. I never said Margaret Sanger was a racist. Of course I have. You can't come out and say controversial stuff and then backtrack it in this day and age. It's impossible. See, back in the day, these people could just lie their way out of it. Cenk grew up watching these people, these media figures, but just lie their way out of everything. And because we didn't have social media, there was no accountability. It's 2021, Cenk. Come on, bro. Now, here's the thing. When I assume that you're intelligent, I'm assuming you're intelligent. That means that one of the ways that we measure intelligence is a person's ability to remember things, right? Recall. Cenk, you're a very intelligent individual. It is impossible for me to conceive of the fact that you said this stuff about Syria and forgot about it. As a matter of fact, Cenk, your organization, I'm not going to say it's you because I don't know who's doing this, but you guys have an obvious policy that anytime you have said something in the past that's wrong or immoral or whatever that you're ashamed of, you guys just decide you're going to delete the video and just move on like nothing happened. That's why Sori couldn't understand after the Jimmy Dore video where they went clip after clip of you guys saying the most horrifically evil, sexist, horrible thing. By the way, one of the segments they did was about Britney Spears. And now all this stuff has come out about the horrific shit that Britney Spears has had to deal with, where her parents have basically taken over her life. They've legally completely destroyed this girl. She was in probably the worst period of time in her life, and the Young Turks used that moment in her episode in her life to boost themselves and get clicks. That has nothing to do with the current situation we're bringing up, but it is something that I wanted to talk about because it's particularly evil. But Cenk, you said this. You said this stuff. You said we're going to take out all their stuff efficiently. Why would you come on TV and say he's lying? I don't get it.
There it is.
Yeah, there it is. Okay,
and I wish I
give
had
it
the
to you.
video of where I argued with him about it because it exists, but I just don't know how to find it. So there it is. Do you need in a rant? He went on a rant about how Jimmy Dore is a preposterous, ridiculous liar, and when asked what he lied about, he points to a thing that Cenk's actually lying about. Jimmy Dore didn't lie. That's just amazing. When asked, well, what can you point? So they do a video called TYT Responds to Jimmy Dore. They don't respond to any one of my criticisms of them. They just slander me. Now Cenk Uygur calls me a Nazi and says I lied and said he advocated for bombing Syria. Well, here he is advocating for bombing Syria. So as he's trying to call me a preposterous liar, Cenk's only defense is a blatant lie. Calls me a right-wing. My fans are right-wingers.
You know, it's true. I actually missed that. It is true. They said they respond to Jimmy Dore, but they didn't respond to force a vote and all the other shit that Jimmy's been murdering them for. They didn't say a word about that. They just went with the attack on the homie. All right.
I'm a neo-Nazi, And I lie about him all the time, and endless lies. And then what did he say I lied about? That, and I didn't. We got him. So if you'd like to see Cenk Uygur, this is Cenk Uygur. Now remember, this is after Afghanistan. This is after Iraq. This is him with Libya.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Down goes Gaddafi. It appears down goes Gaddafi. So right now,
he's giddy, like he just want
I have to address this. This is what happens when politics turns into wrestling. I'll dip back in when you're all shocked that Dore turns out to be exactly who he showed you that he was. What does that mean, Adam Barkin? What does that mean? Shocked when he turns out to be what he was. Jimmy Dore has been consistent since he's gotten into the political discourse. So I don't know, Adam Barkin, what specifically you're talking about. Why don't you be specific? Be specific in your allegations so that we can all talk about it, right? Don't say you're all shocked when he turns out to be exactly who he showed you he was. What does that mean? See, I'm starting to see this pattern of these sort of like ephemeral like accusations that don't have any real substance. Jimmy, it's the same thing I say to people all the time. I've done literally thousands of videos all over the internet. If I said the stuff you said I said, show us. That's all. And I held Jimmy to the exact same standards I held everybody else to. He said that Cenk was pro bombing Syria, and I was like, get us the receipts, Jimmy. I want to see it. So I've been consistent all the way around, but I don't know what you're talking about. Nothing that Jimmy will do will shock me if he stays consistent with what he's been talking about.
Basketball game or a football championship. They're giddy. Do you know what we just did? We just toppled the most successful state in the whole continent, and we turned it into a failed state with slave markets. We wrecked people's lives. And he's cheering it.
we have not gotten Gaddafi captured yet, but it appears that he has lost control of Tripoli. 2 of his sons are gone, meaning Saif al-Islam, and 2 other sons are actually been captured. Then we've got Khamis and Mutasim, who are still apparently fighting. So a couple of sons out there and a couple of sons detained. One of the sons detained said, me? No, I've been with the Libyan people the whole time. What, there's a war going on? I didn't know that. No, I've always been for freedom. Come on, dude. Come on. Okay. His prime minister has already fled to Tunisia, and people.
He did have a prime minister. This is, again, this weird, very strange thing that Cenk does, where he invalidates what you are if he's on the different side of you. So if you're an abolitionist and you don't believe in killing babies, you're not American. If you're Jimmy Dore, you're not really on the left. And apparently, Muammar Gaddafi can't have a prime minister. He's not really the prime minister. It's just weird. It's just weird, man. And look at the glee. He's talking about these people dying. What did Muammar Gaddafi ever do to you, Cenk? Muammar Gaddafi, I'm pretty sure, had health care for all of his folks. Now, I don't think Libya was a paradise. It wasn't Jannah, but it definitely wasn't this hellscape that we created. But see, Jimmy is a descendant of people who ethnically cleansed a whole group of people and denied it to this day. And Jimmy named his show after those people. I'm sorry, not Jimmy, Cenk. Cenk named his show after the Young Turks, who committed a horrific genocide against the Armenian people. So Cenk is apparently not very. He doesn't get triggered when he sees scenes like this, apparently. But this is slavery, thanks to the United States working with Al-Qaeda in Libya. I know that for a fact. Mubarak, Ya Ibn Sa'id.
Tunisia are like, we don't know why he showed up here, but he, you know why? Because he had to get to.
Boy, why is he so giddy about this? Isn't that weird that he's giddy? But this is because Cenk was born a conservative Republican, and he admits that, right? That's what he says, and he was for every war. and he did pro-war rallies in college. Imagine that, being in college. You're of the age you could go fight in the war, but you don't, but you do a pro-war rally.
I've never been to a pro. Hey, I'm gonna screenshot this because that has got to be the picture right here. You got Cenk, and then there's it's got to be the screen cap. Pro-life equals anti-war. That's correct. I am pro-life, so I'm against war. I'm also against slavery of all people, especially my folks. But once again, my folks ended up in slavery due to American interventionism. And here's Cenk celebrating it.
Wow. So here we go. Watch. I just want to show a little bit more of this, and then we'll come
out of Tripoli, okay? Because it's over. OVAH. Gaddafi's done. Okay. Now, who's the man who supported the Libya policy when almost no one else did? Hey, Jesus, can you remind me who that was? Let's just take a quick look here.
But when you go to the substance of whether they should have done the no-fly zone or not, if I was in Congress, would I have voted for it? Given the limited scope of it, yes, I would have agreed to it. It's very ironic.
So there is Cenk Uygur bragging that he got Libya right, and he was for it when no one else was. He's bragging that he was for the bombing of Libya and the overthrow of a sovereign nation by NATO. There he is cheering it out. There's your progressive hero. That's your progressive hero. A guy who advocates bombing brown people.
Trump gloated about blowing up Soleimani. He's no better. Well, no, there's no equivalency between killing Muammar Gaddafi, who's a head of state, and Soleimani, who was a legitimate military target. There's no correlation between the two. Muammar Gaddafi was a head of state, and he was actually doing really good things for his country. And on top of that, the residual consequences of what Mr. Obama and Miss Hillary Clinton did in Libya, here, Ave, true Caesar, are the resultant consequences for that. That's a slave market. That's not what happened to Iran after we killed Soleimani. Furthermore, Cenk is supposed to be a progressive who supports non-interventionist and anti-empiricism. That's what he's supposed to be. Donald Trump is a jingoistic, alpha male, American, America eating burgers, shooting guns type of guy. That goes completely right with his ideological framework. So to make an equivalency there doesn't work.
And he says he can't be that guy because he's brown too. Well, guess who else is brown? Saddam Hussein, Muammar Gaddafi.
Gaddafi was a military target for an illegal action. Gaddafi presented no hostile affect to the United States in any way, shape, or form when he was attacked and killed. And we, along with Al-Qaeda, we worked with Al-Qaeda in order to depose a leader. To compare that to what happened with Soleimani indicates a lack of understanding about how these actions affect the region and the people in the region directly. Get us the evidence that the Soleimani murder or the revenge of the Soleimani revenge hit. By the way, which Trump actually displayed a hell of a lot of restraint on, because he only killed Soleimani and his driver. And when you compare Obama and all the rest of this stuff, we've always killed civilians when we try to hit these HVTs. So that's actually, to be honest with you, one of the cleanest kills of an HVT I've ever seen. Because most of the time when somebody ends up on that list, then we're good with civilian casualties. And Trump killed no civilians when he killed Soleimani. But this is a result of what happened to civilians. This is what happened to civilians as a result of Obama and Hillary's moves. You see, they're not equivalent. Let's please use our minds here. Okay? They're not equivalent actions. One action was a legit. First of all, Soleimani is the military. The guy is literally the military. So that's a legit attack. And they made sure to only kill him. And there are no residual consequences of note to the Iranian people at the death of Mr. Soleimani. As a matter of fact, there were a hell of a lot of people in Iran celebrating the death of Mr. Soleimani. Okay? So let's, first of all, talking about Trump is completely irrelevant, but let's do it. We're going to talk about Trump. Show me an action that Mr. Trump did that resulted in this kind of human suffering. Now, I know many of you, I'm not talking about you specifically, Ave True. Many of you act like you care about the black experience in the world, but really don't care. One action resulted in slavery for these people. These are human beings created in the image of God, by the way, which we don't know. We don't know where they're from. Mr. Obama did not send in special operators to liberate those people, by the way. And there were requests from folks that were saying, please give us the ability to free these people. And if we get caught, we get caught. And it wasn't approved. I know that for a fact. Wasn't approved. So please, 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 please stop trying to make this ridiculous equivalency between the actions Trump does and the actions. It happens all the time. I heard about it the whole time during the Biden administration. Yes, I know Obama built the cages, but Trump filled them. That's whataboutism, blah, 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 blah. I've seen that script before. I'm not falling for it. Sorry. Mr. Soleimani was explicitly hostile to the United States and our aims and goals, and he's got U.S. blood on his hands, and I'm not mad at him for it. It's war. It happens. And then we got him. It happens. I'll tell you what, Soleimani wouldn't complain. He's not the type of guy that would complain about something. He'd say, okay, you got it good for you. But Mr. Obama and the rest of them created a fucking slave market over there full of black people. In 2017, you still had black people lining up in slave markets. Unbelievable stuff.
Todd. So there he is. Aaron, come up. Let me bring you. I just wanted to show people that. Just to show. I mean, and it goes on and on and on. It's a 5-minute video of him bragging that he got Libya right and that we did it right and that it was successful. And it's just him cheering on. He's giddy over imperialism. That's the real Cenk. Anything you'd like to add to that?
Well, yeah, no, and this is the sad thing about them. You know, I think it's okay to make mistakes. People evolve in their views. I've evolved in some of my views. But if I had so many humiliating videos out there where I'm a bigot, I'm a misogynist, and I'm a pro-war hack like Cenk does, what I'd be doing is apologizing for my past views and not doubling down by lying against people like you and I. We don't have videos like that out there.
No.
Because we've been consistent in our principles, and we're not misogynists. And we're not pro-war activists like Cenk once was. So instead of just owning up to his past views and owning up to his slander now of both you and I, he keeps doubling down. So what are we supposed to do? I mean, how could we not bring up videos like this and show what a hip?
And to be honest with you, I don't understand being embarrassed about it. I don't understand that. Like I say all the time, I was completely propagandized after 9/11. I've said it a million times. I shot a video after the 1/6 insurrection where I said, holy shit, I was wrong about Trump. And then I played a clip where I said something, I said, I was wrong. That's not embarrassing. It just means you're not God. Only God is omniscient. So if you're putting out thousands of videos over time and talking, and we don't know 1% of anything. So, of course, you're going to make mistakes. It's not humiliating to make a mistake. It's not even humiliating to have a bad ideology. Some of you, 5 years from now, you're going to look back about the crazy things you were saying to justify abortion, and you're going to be like, how could I have said that? People change. It's not shameful or humiliating. I disagree with Aaron. It's not shameful or humiliating to have a video where you had a wrong take. Just shoot another video and say I was wrong. Here's the facts. And then next time when you go to analyze the situation, you keep that in your mindset so that you don't have to do that again. Why? I mean, this doesn't make sense. Here's Ave Turner. It's hard to say you're anti-war, then turn around saying killing HTTs is fine if war itself is wrong, so is everything involved. Well, Ave, you don't know my perspective on war and killing. My perspective is that it's inappropriate for Christians to kill, but Romans chapter 13 says that God puts a sword in the hand of a soldier to avenge to bring justice to the wrongdoer, to avenge the wrongdoer. So I can personally say I am barred from obtaining that, participating in that role, very similar to the fact that because I was born in Jamaica, I could never be the president of the United States. That's not the role that's been assigned for me in this country, and that's not the role that God has assigned to Christians. So because of that, I understand that people are going to go to war, and there are rules of engagement for war. The issue, though, is you, like many, I'm not saying you're a neoliberal, but like many neoliberals, if somebody is being criticized, they automatically bring up Trump as if that negates something or that there's some sort of equivalency. I'm going to say this one more time. Umar Soleimani was a warrior. He was a fighter. He killed American soldiers. We killed his folks. We caught him slipping. He was in Iraq and he jumped over the border. We caught him slipping. We had humans and we went over there and we made sure that him and only him died in the conflict. Barack Hussein Obama and Hillary Rodham Clinton, along with elements in the CIA and other alphabet agencies, came up with the concept of the Arab Spring to increase United States influence in the Middle East, and the Levant. That is a fact. Then we went over there. We started with the unrest in Iran when Neda got assassinated. I'm sure you don't know, you don't remember that. That's okay. Then it spread to Egypt, and that with the Muslim Brotherhood, who was the proto Al Qaeda, and then it spread all the way to Libya, Syria, etc. That's what happened. Taking out somebody who has been an adversary of the United States in the battlefield is war. That's how it goes. And the consequences, the residual consequences for killing Soleimani on the civilian population is nothing even relatively close to what we did with Libya. Because in Libya, we ousted Gaddafi and worked with Al-Qaeda, and there was a resurgence of Sharia and all the other crazy shit that we hate about radical Salafist Islam. And there were also slave markets, I'll say it again. And this is the thing that gets me about neoliberals. Neoliberals are always talking about racism and slavery and all the rest of it, but when you talk to them, when their political ideology comes into confluence with the fact that the politicians that they like increase suffering for black people, they say, get over it. Same thing with Biden. Oh, you have to vote for Trump because Biden's a racist. Well, wait a second. Biden signed the... Oh, get over it, black guy. Get over it. And you guys don't see how crazy that is. No. One killing resulted in a military enemy that died on the battlefield. And honestly, if you talk to Soleimani, trust me, he would say that that's the way he'd want to die anyway. And another one was a world leader who was not hostile to us, never posed a danger to us in any way, shape, or form. We killed him, and it resulted in a slave market full of black people. And then we did nothing to fix it. So please, please, please miss me with that stuff. It's just a bad argument. Just drop it. Or Ave, show me. How about this, Ave? You can come on right now and show us how the effects of killing Soleimani are equivalent to these folks here in Libya who are in a slave market. Unbelievable stuff. That is neoliberalism right there, and it's one of the reasons why I cannot wait till it dies. Unbelievable stuff.
He is. I mean, you already did the show when you went through just some of the clips of Cenk's misogyny, which was just like, it was disgusting. And I don't know, I didn't even like. I don't know how he speaks in public without being deeply shameful. all the things he's done in the past. But I think that's what always happens with people who project. They see in others traits that they resent about themselves. In the case of you and I, we've been right. We were right about Russiagate. We were right about foreign interventions like Libya and Syria. And we've done so while upholding progressive values. He claims to be a progressive while taking DNC corporate money and advocating for all, the top DNC foreign policies like Libya, the Syrian dirty war, and buying into dumb conspiracy theories like Russiagate. So he'll naturally be hostile towards people who actually embody the views that he falsely claims to uphold. And it's led to this really ugly thing. But as I said on the Hill, for me personally at least, the positive thing is that whereas before all this, so many people in the media just ignored the OPCW story, which to me is one of the most important stories of this century. This pro-war cover-up at the OPCW, the silencing of these brave whistleblowers, and, Trump bombing Syria based on patently false grounds, this lie that Syria committed a chlorine attack, all of which covers up for who really killed those people in Duma, because if it wasn't the Syrian government, as the U.S. claimed, then they died in some other way. They died in basically some sort of awful fashion that we don't know yet. So before this, even though the facts were so overwhelming, there's been all these documents. We've done so much. You and I have talked about it a lot. I've done 10 stories on it, mostly at the Gray Zone. It just wasn't cutting through. But then the Young Turks were shameful enough to refuse to own up to their own views in slandering me that they tried to double down by making this Syria cover-up thing an issue and doing this ridiculous segment where they brought on someone who has no clue what he's talking about, and it's produced a grand total of 4 paragraphs on the topic. It's led to more attention for the issue. So in their mendacity, it's annoying, but at least it's brought in some attention to the issues that you and I care about and have tried to bring to light to a broader public.
Yeah, so that is what's called the Streisand effect, Aaron, I'm pretty sure. So in their attempt to cover their ass for being McCarthy smearing imperialists, they actually brought more attention to their McCarthy smearing imperialism, and they brought more attention to your good work on Syria and the OPCW's whistleblowers. They brought actually more, because people in the Hill would never have talked about that if there wasn't this feud happening, right? So what they wanted was, they're a show that just lost 100,000 subscribers.
Yikes.
And they wanted to get some clicks on some salacious internet stuff, and that's exactly what it didn't work with Cenk because no one wants to hear from him, but it did work when you went on and you debunked it. Right? People want to hear that. They don't want to hear the claptrap anymore from establishment pukes like Cenk Uygur, who is establishment. He is anti-union, and he's in bed with the biggest donors the DNC has, and he takes their money, and they sit on his board.
That's pretty much it.
They sit on his board. As they're funding Hillary Clinton's campaign, as they're funding Joe Biden's campaign, they're sitting on the Young Turks board. The Young Turks are out there saying to vote for it. It's so crazy. Hey,
all right, there we go. There we go. That is the long and the short of it. Ave, whatever. Yes. Trump bragged about killing him. He bragged about killing Baghdadi, and Obama bragged about killing bin Laden. That happens in war. It happens all the time. But to say, well, yeah, Obama took out Gaddafi, but we took out Soleimani as if they're equivalent is ignorant at best and cynical at worst. I'm just going to say that you are not familiar with the ramifications of the ouster of Gaddafi on the region, who we partnered with, and et cetera, et cetera. And look, guys, we've got to get away from this Obama, Trump, whatever. All of them are part of the same system, which is the point I said initially. The reason that I said that I'm talking about the difference between killing Soleimani and killing Gaddafi is because we have got to start taking responsibility to not allow ourselves to be brainwashed by left-wing or right-wing media, and we've got to start thinking with nuance. And that's the reason we keep getting tricked by these people. So I have no interest in defending Trump. I've got my own issues with Trump, namely the fact that he did nothing about abortion when he was lying to the evangelical community the whole time, talking about he was going to do all this pro-life stuff, right? So the issue is not that. The issue is we have a foreign policy that continually perpetuates the misery of human beings all across the planet. And the Democrats and the Republicans have completely sold themselves to further that agenda. And we have got to start using our minds and not letting these people manipulate us. You can say that Donald Trump did a whole bunch of bad things. Killing Soleimani was not one of them. I'm sorry, but killing a guy who we've been at war with for the last 35 years, even prior to the invasion of Iraq, is par for the course. Now, as a Christian, did I celebrate the death of Soleimani? No. Did I celebrate the death of bin Laden? No. I don't celebrate the death of the wicked. The scripture says God doesn't delight in the death of the wicked. So I didn't celebrate it. But let's think higher than what these people want us to do. They want us to say, well, so that we can never get to the point. The point is, America has an interventionist policy. The Arab Spring was horrifically un-American, terrible, and had horrific consequences in the world. We spent billions of dollars and billions of gallons of blood to do that shit. And everybody behind it, whether it's Hillary, Obama, Trump, whoever, anybody that continues the furtherance of the pain and suffering of human beings, I am against. Period. All right. Having said that, dear listener, the point is, love your neighbor, take care of each other. Middle America, we are the media.